Welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm your host, Jeannie Hall, and I'm pursuing my dreams by helping you make your dreams a reality. I'm an author, blogger, podcaster, and life coach who hopes to inspire you to feel better, live happier, and go after your dreams with a vengeance. You can do it. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. This is podcast 11, Creating Value. So I am a strong believer in the law of attraction because I've received a lot of wisdom from it, and I've seen a lot of good things come out of that in my life as I have become more of a practitioner and follower of it. I've received so much joy and comfort from the study of this teaching that it's just, I guess it's given my brain the evidence that it wants. And those of us who follow the law of attraction and other spiritual teachings like it understand that if our mind doesn't see the evidence that it needs to see, it's more likely to basically bump against it and say, no, I don't believe that. And we tend to go back to the way we were. And in spiritual fields, they call that resistance. And by kind of training your mind, you can get rid of some of that resistance by giving your mind more evidence that things can change for the better. But one part of my life that has seemed not to go the way I've wanted it to go is career and money. So like I have a beautiful marriage to my soulmate, the man of my dreams. We've been together for, 27 years, almost 28. We've been married for 21 of those years, very happily. So that part of my life has always been a gift and a blessing and a beautiful, beautiful thing. I've had a wonderful family, wonderful childhood. I have wonderful, wonderful things in my life, so much to be grateful for. But the two parts of my life, and they're very interconnected, that have not gone the way I always wanted them to, has been money and career. And because most of us believe that we have to get our money from our jobs, and I have grown up believing that too, those things have been, at least in my case, and I'm sure a lot of your cases as well, have been very tied together and connected. So I am starting to see some shifts in that area now, after 2 years of working with the law of attraction and listening to a lot of wisdom and brilliant minds in that field, and following Abraham and Eckhart Tolle and Louise Hay and a lot of different people. I've had lots of mentors, and I get more and more every day. So I am starting to see shifts now. Little shifts, little things, little manifestations that are showing me that my beliefs and my basic feelings on money and career are beginning to change. But I am still currently in a day job, and I would prefer to spend my time focusing on being an entrepreneur. But my day job is very intense and takes a lot of hours a week, at least 45 a week. And it is a little difficult to work around that, but I know I can because I am. And of course, finances is all about the fear of not having a regular paycheck, and it's kept me from taking the leap. Even though I know God and the universe has my back, I totally believe that. I really do. Even with that belief, though, I've had difficulty taking the leap because I took that leap once before, and it did not work out for me. So I'm also fighting against not just evidence of, not just childhood beliefs and cultural beliefs of, oh no, you have to have a job to get a paycheck to have financial security, which isn't really true at all. We all know of companies that close down or downsize for no reason or whatever. There is no real job security out there with big corporations anyway, but a lot of us work for them because we believe that they are more secure. And we like that regular paycheck going into our account every week or month or 2 weeks or whatever the paycheck period is. So most of us, a lot of us have that tie to some kind of job because we're afraid to go without that regular paycheck. And I personally left my job several years ago. I was a teacher and I taught for 5 years, and most of that was a pleasant, good experience, but the end was not, and I decided to leave teaching. I had a lot of health problems from teaching. I had so much stress that after 5 years, I decided not to take the next yearly contract. And so that summer I thought, well, I'll just find a job. I've never had a problem finding a job, so I'll just leave and take another job and get another school system where, things are better. Well, I tried that. Did not work. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the reason it didn't work was because of my mindset at the time. My mindset at the time was all about fear and all about scarcity, and that there was limited jobs and limited money, and that I wasn't good enough and I wasn't worthy of something great because I'd left what I had and wasn't, didn't like it. And so I kind of felt like I was being punished and all those kind of things. None of that was true. None of it. None of the punishment was true. The belief of worthiness and all that kind of stuff, and that even the job scarcity and stuff, there are lots of jobs out there, but we believe what we're being told by the news and by society in general and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the jobs, though, that are out there, we create ourselves. And that's what this podcast is all about, is creating value. So I have been there. I am trying to get past my belief system about that, because by not finding a job whenever I was looking after being a teacher and having to go back to retail as just a part-time cashier, which is what I did. I went from being a teacher, an insurance agent manager, or a manager before in retail, to going to part-time cashier because that's all I could find at the time. And now I see that as a blessing. At the time, it felt horrible. It was very scary. It was financially scary. It was professionally scary. It felt like falling down a deep well without any chance of getting out. But, of course, what that job led to was, even though it was part-time, it led to a management position. I kept getting promoted. I got promoted to lead, and then I got promoted to a manager over the cashiers, and then I got promoted to a manager over a department, and then I got promoted to the assistant manager of the store. So it all happened for a reason and to help me. And even though that is not something I wish to continue doing for very much longer, I know that I'm there for a reason. I'm creating value in my position now, and I'm going to create even more value as an entrepreneur of my own business. And so that's what I'm doing now. And it's all about learning to trust yourself and the universe and God to show you the way. And once you're ready, things will line up for you. So I've been changing my mindset daily. I've been working on positive affirmations about money and abundance. I have created that on my vision boards and all that kind of stuff. I feel gratitude for everything. I make a point of feeling grateful for everything I have, at least daily. So it's really important to put those feelings and really feel them. Take the time not just to think, oh, I'm grateful for my husband, but really feel the love that I have for my husband. So it's important to feel all that. And but because I have hit the stumbling block, I know it takes time and it's hard to be patient. But because I hit that stumbling block of, when is this going to happen? I've been in this job for, 6 years. I'm still stuck in this job. Frustration and that kind of stuff. So I began listening to another different podcast, and I came across a lady named Brooke Castillo. And she's at the life coach school. And as you know from my last podcast, I decided to be a life coach. So I started to go along that path. And because it felt so good and so right, I started to believe that that's really what my business was going to be about. It's going to be about writing and blogging and podcasting like it always has, or like it has been for a long time. But now I know that life coaching is going to be another big component of that. Maybe the biggest component. I'm not sure yet. But something that she mentioned is that money is not about time or effort, which is what most of us believe. Money is about value, and that money comes to us when we create value. And you can create value in a job, working for somebody else, or you can create value working for yourself. Either one is fine. But either way, you will draw more money into your life. And what I personally believe is that we should do what we love to do, because then you're not really working. You're just having fun. And creating value is a joy if you're doing that. So that's obviously the path I've been taking. And she just kind of helped to clarify what I was thinking, and also some of the stumbling blocks that I've come across in this work. So even though I was saying things before to myself like, I love money and money comes to me easily, I was also blocking money still without meaning to. I couldn't understand why I hadn't received the money I was asking for from the universe, because my mind has been screaming for the past 6 years or longer, I hate my job. So because I've been doing that, and it's not a conscious thing, but, and I tried to stop complaining about my job. I tried to stop, thinking negatively. I started to think about the positive aspects of my job and focusing on that. And I can, and I do, but I didn't realize just how much hatred I felt toward my job. I think because I have to work so many hours, and because it is a stressful position and different things, I was having problems not hating it. So when I realized that, when I really looked at it, it's like, do I really hate my job? And the answer was absolutely yes. I had to realize that was at least one of the blocks. I'm blocking the money from coming because I still hate my job. So I'm trying to focus on, so when I'm exhausted, so like right now, this is the first day I've had off in 7 days, and this happens about every 2 weeks, where the way they've got the rotation at my job is that one manager works 7 days straight every couple or 3 weeks. And so I'm just coming off another one of those. It's getting ready to be the holiday season, and of course for retail that means more hours, more stress, visits from higher ups, and all that kind of stuff happens. And so there's lots of work to do and lots of busyness to get accomplished, and because of all that, it's just a more stressful time. And I just, I overslept this morning, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just realizing I have to understand that, yes, I'm tired and yes, I'm exhausted. But the more I focus on that, it just comes back to the hating the job thing. And so what I'm trying to do is focus on creating value at my job, but also through this business, and focusing on that and changing my thought from I hate my job to I don't hate my job. Okay? Or it'd be even better to say I love my job. Now, right now that feels like a lie because it kind of is because the way I actually feel is I actually feel mixed. I actually don't feel absolute hate for my job. There are aspects of it that are really great. But when I'm this tired and that kind of thing, it's hard to focus on anything but that exhaustion, that physical and mental exhaustion. So what I've decided to do, and this is something that Brooke Castillo also talks about, you kind of baby step your way to the new belief. So I'm thinking, it's like, no, I really do enjoy parts of my job, and focus on that, and try not to focus on the tiredness or the frustrations or the stress or whatever's going on, because that's always going on at my particular job. And it's up to me to focus on and tell myself how I feel about that. If I focus on how tired I am and how many hours I have to put in every day, or how many days I have to go before I get a day off, then it's going to come back to that negative response every time. So what I'm trying to do is just focus on, hey, my next day off is this. Or, hey, I get off at this time today. Or, I get to sleep late because I have to work late. So that's great. I get some extra sleep. I'm trying to focus on the more positive aspects and say, I enjoy my job. And I'm trying to work my way up to loving my job, because I know that the way the law of attraction works, until you love something, it's going to be difficult to release it, especially if you're struggling with it, or forgive yourself for it, or forgive the job for making you feel that way, whatever it is. So I'm trying to work my way up to really enjoying the job for what it is and appreciating it. So that is what I'm working on. And I think that'll create more and more value And as I create value, money has to come into my life. It's the law. So I'm changing my self-talk, as I've said. And because, again, within me, in my life especially, and I'm sure in several of your lives as well, the whole thing with money and job is very connected. So we just have to focus on what we can find that's good in that job and try and look away from the bad. Not to say you can't feel those feelings. If I'm really tired and frustrated, one, I have to rest. But two, it's like getting my mind in a good place. So if I have to release frustrations by hitting a pillow for a while, or writing how frustrated I am and then burning it or tearing up the paper or whatever, however I need to get that out, I do need to do that too. So feel free to do that. You do need to feel that feeling to get it out of you. If it's not out of you, it's not going anywhere and nothing's going to change. But one thing I am doing that I also think is probably one of the most important things is to really, really focus and be aware of my thoughts. I don't think I was quite fully aware of how much I was thinking I hate my job, because I have been trying to be much more positive for the past 2 years and really change the way my mind thinks and the way I feel about things. And so now that I'm aware that thought was still in there and that feeling was still there, now I can start going around it. Sometimes to really manifest what we want, we have to do what I was just saying. We have to start changing the way we think and we feel, because that is the energy that we're bringing to us. I was bringing hate energy into my body and into my life without realizing it. But now that I can see that, I was seeing that my job, I was looking at it as a burden and negative and taking too much time and all that kind of stuff. I was blocking myself from the manifestation of being able to create more money and create more, opportunities outside of the current job I have. So that is what I'm currently working on. Another thing that Brooke Castillo talked about was giving value ahead of time. So I'm, of course, as you know, offering my services as a life coach, but I'm giving value. Even if you never hire me as a coach, I'm giving you value in this podcast. I'm giving you value from my blog, and I'm giving value through my website, writinginyourjammies.com. I have a free newsletter that I send out. So that's giving value ahead of time. And not only do I share like positive tidbits and information and things like that, but I also have this great cheat sheet to help you define your dreams. So if you're someone who maybe you've been stuck in a rut, you feel like, for a long time, maybe it's your job, or maybe it's relationship, or maybe it's not having a relationship, or whatever your situation is in your life where you feel like you've been stuck for a long time, and maybe you've even forgotten how to dream. Or maybe you just say, I don't actually know what my dream is, Jeannie. I just don't know. I've been doing this for so long that I've forgotten what my dreams were, or maybe I never knew. Either one of those. That's what this cheat sheet was created for, was to help you define your dreams. So feel free to check that out. Go to writinginyourjammies.com and subscribe, and you'll get that great little cheat sheet for doing so. But by giving value in all these different ways, I'm opening up myself to more positive energies, more abundant energies, and I send that out freely and with love, and with appreciation and gratitude, because I know I have something that is worthwhile and worth sharing. Because if I have been where I have been, and I am where I am now, and I've grown, and I can help someone else get to a better place in their lives, and that is gift enough itself, even if I never know about it. Even if you do all these things and I never know you're following me or listening to me or anything else, it's awesome just to know that it helped, even for a moment. So I am inviting positive energy into my life by being of service. And I am one of these people, and Brooke Castillo talked about this, the whole being of service thing, because when I have heard people say you need to be of service, my automatic gut reaction was, I tried that already. Because I felt like when I was a teacher, that's kind of a service job, that, you're there to help other people and you're giving all of your time and your life to that pursuit. And it didn't work out for me because it didn't end up being a very positive experience. And I also pictured myself like living like Mother Theresa with the poor and indigent, and I just thought, I love my life, so much of it, I don't want to give it up to dedicate completely to that. I'm sure it's awesome, but that's just not what I wanted. And this is something that Brooke clarified. Being of service means being fully yourself. Okay, you don't have to live like Mother Teresa to give in service, to be of service. Okay, you can be of service in any way you want, because being of service is just being the best version of yourself and presenting that to the world. So if you don't want to be a nun, okay, if it doesn't fill you with excitement and joy, don't worry about it. That's fine. Everybody's different. And if you are, and if that does fill you with excitement and joy, go for it. But we all have our own unique contributions to make. And that whatever that contribution is perfect, just as it is. So for me, I want to help others make progress on their spiritual journeys because I've been on mine and it's been so beneficial to me. And so I'm doing that through life coaching and blogging and podcasting and writing books because that's what I love to do. That's what brings me joy and happiness in my career. And it's very different from what I thought I wanted even just a year ago. A year ago, I was all focused on writing, and I thought I would write romantic thrillers for the rest of my life. And what happened instead is I started writing self-help books, and I just loved it. I never expected to love it. I never expected to switch to nonfiction, but I did, and it made me so happy. So it's okay to not know what you want. It really is. It's okay to be a work in progress because we all are. And it's okay to be evolving because we all are. That's the whole point of being here in this human body. We're spiritual beings living a human existence. And everything we experience is for a reason. And it's all good. It's all good. So maybe you're not sure what you really want, and that's okay. Maybe it feels scary to even consider thinking about your dreams because you haven't allowed yourself to do that in a really long time. Maybe when you were a kid, but not since. Or maybe you've never allowed yourself to really dream and let yourself imagine any possibility for yourself. But here's the thing. Your happiness is in your own hands. Your own hands, no one else's. So if you want to be happy, you need to start making the choices that will allow that happiness to come to you. You get to choose how you feel. But it's hard to feel happy if nothing in your life is how you really want it to be. Trust me, I know. But you can make the changes, okay? You can decide to go after what you want, and you get to think what you want to think, which dictates how you feel, which dictates what you then do. And it's really so much easier to feel satisfied and happy with your life if you feel like you're making a contribution and creating value. Whatever that value is. Even if that's, I remember as a kid, I saw a lady. It was actually a guy, one of our neighbors was dating a lady that we'd never seen before. But she sat there in our house when I was a kid. And with a pair of scissors, she took I think it was like a Sprite aluminum can with Sprite in it. She took the scissors and cut that aluminum can up once it was empty, obviously, and turned it into a little chair. She rolled the aluminum and twisted it and turned it into a little rocking chair, I think. And that was a talent that she had. Now, is that going to make her $1 million? I have no idea. But is it possible that she could, live her dream out of that talent? Of course, because she's creating value and it's joyful for herself. It was joy for her to do that. She enjoyed doing it. You could see the look on her face when she was done. She loved every second of it. So whatever it is, even if you're like, oh, that's just weird and that's not going to help me financially, you don't know that. There's always a way. So don't be afraid to take those first steps into that life. You can make the changes. You really can. So what I'd like you to do is decide. Make a decision. Do you want to be happier? If you do, you can begin that journey right now, this second. So sign up at my newsletter, writinginyourjammies.com. go hit that subscribe button. You'll start getting the boost you need in little newsletters that I'm focusing right now on affirmations. So I'll take an affirmation every newsletter and focus on it and give a short little read. And that can boost your spirits. The more positivity you bring into your life, the more you'll have it in your thought process and in your feelings. Or even better, sign up for a free mini session with me and we will start hashing this out together and start creating value together. So thanks so much for listening and have a great day. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to this show. You can learn more about the topics discussed on this episode and sign up for my positivity newsletter at my website, writinginyourjammies.com. You can also check out all my books on my Amazon author page, keyword Jeannie Hall. Remember that you are worthy of all good things. You are beautiful, amazing, and made of love and light. Thanks again.